Hi guys, Robert1 here, and today I have my Zefra deck profile for you. A little blurry, so I'm just going to zoom out a bit. And today I'm going to be showing you what I use in my Zefra deck. Now, I've been testing this a lot, and I feel like the decisions I've made are good, but there's also some things that I think that could be different to you guys because of there are other things in the deck that you could play to make it better and all that. So I'm just going to get on with it. So let's start off with the monsters. So we play 3 Zefraino, Secret of the Yangzing. Now this card is one of your best cards because of without this card you wouldn't be able to search all your spells and traps and everything, and it keeps your deck running in perfect order. Seriously, this card is the best. It's got two great effects. It's one great effect, but they're both the same thing. Basically, when this card is destroyed or pendulum summoned, you search as Yangzing or Zefra spell or trap card, and what you're mainly using it for is your Zefra spell or trap cards, because the deck really runs good with this card. You need this card to be able to play good because it allows you to get your field spell to search more Zefra monsters. It allows you to get your counter trap to negate anything your opponent tries to use. It's just playing great. This card is amazing. You have to run it on free. To be honest though, I think this should have been one of the holo card in the set over the other Yangzing Tuna Maker, but that's a discussion for another day. Next, 3 Satella Knight Zefra. Now this card is good because if you tribute your own cards, namely your level 6 guy, and pop any set card, you really need to use this guy because he helps clear out your opponent's back row, and he's just a really good card in general. He's a 19 beat stick. You can summon him, you can pendulum summon him, you can normal summon him for effect. He's got great effects. And also, if I've got a pendulum monster in my pendulum zone that I want to clear out, so I can put a new pendulum monster in because the one in my pendulum zone is bad, I mean good, I can just switch them out. I can just use its effect, kill that pendulum monster, put it in my pendulum deck, my extra deck, and then put the pendulum skate or back in order with the bad pendulum monster, and then just pendulum summon the one that I want back. So this guy really helps. Next, 2 Zefraxi, Treasure of the Yangzing. Now this guy makes all your synchro plays possible because without him you wouldn't be able to do all your synchro plays, and he's a generally good card. The only bad thing I'd say with him is that he has to go to the bottom of the deck, but that really doesn't matter when you're synchro summoning because you can just shuffle up your deck again and put a card on top thanks to the field spell when you synchro summon. So it's a good card, but it has the one bad side when going to the bottom of the deck. So, and 2 is a great number, seeing as it can keep recycling itself. This card is a definite in the deck, and I would say 2's enough. You don't need 3, 1's too little. So just keep this card at 2 and you'll be fine. Next, 2 Satella Knight Zefruben. This is like Zefraxiton, but it kills face-up cards. Now I find this card to be really good because of it's basically the same example as the other one, but it kills face-up cards. So without this card, you wouldn't be able to play as much. Also, it's an out to stuff like skill drain. No, not yes. It's an out to stuff like lose 1 turn, Vanity's Emptiness, Macrocosmos. It's just a great out to those cards that most decks don't have, and this card can really help. Also, if my opponent's got a big monster on board that I can't kill, this card really comes in handy. Okay, next, 2 Shadow Hedgehog. Now this basically allows me to search out my Shadow scales, also my Shadow spell and trap cards. And this card is really useful in the deck because I'm allowed to search out more. It brings in consistency, and it's just a good card in general with its flip effect to search a fusion. So yeah, 2's enough for it. Okay. Next, 2 Bixie, Water of the Yangzing. Now Bixie, it's mainly in here right now because of El Shadow Anoitalis, which is a really good card in its own right against Necros, but I would prefer to run Jiaotu because Jiaotu is another tuna monster, and the tuna monsters in this deck are really good. But right now, Bixie is a good choice because of I get to use all my stuff It's a water target, and it's a 2k bud like Jiaotu, so I can't really complain about it, but I prefer Jiaotu right now. Next, one is Yugioh Zefra core. That's basically one of the bad pendulums that you use to get off Hedgehog so you can set up your scale and everything so you don't have to waste your good ones. Zefra Naga. Now Zefra Naga is a little different. He's not a terrible card. He's more of one of those cards that if I've got a pendulum monster in the pendulum zone that I want to put in my hand, then I just send him to grave and get his effect. So he's not terrible to say, but I wouldn't say he's one of the more better ones. He's definitely better than this guy, but he's more playful around. Okay. Next, Ritual Beast Tamer Zefra and Pilika. Now Zefra and Pilika is mainly in here because this card, it basically allows you to recycle your pendulum monsters that have been sent to graveyard. So if your opponent's on warnings you, then or something like that, then you can just normal summon this card, get one of your pendulum monsters back, have a defense. It will die in the end phase, but the fact that you can just recycle them, plus if I Shadow Fusion them to the graveyard, then this card brings them back, so it's actually quite useful. I would say one of these is enough, but I wouldn't say more than one, because it's not a great card, but it's just a great card to get your monsters out of grave. So this card, good at one. Next, Shadow Falco, just something to bring back your Hedgehog and stuff to get more searches. Also, it's a tuner target, so I get to use synchro plays with it and everything. It's an okay card. Next, one Armageddon Knight. Now, Armageddon Knight is in here purely because I want to send Hedgehog to grave to get my cards. So if I have Armageddon Knight first turn, I'm going to summon him, send Hedgehog to grave, and search one of the scales that I need, which is really good because of this card. It doesn't really see a lot of play, but in this deck it can be a really good card simply because I can just send Shadow Hedgehog, get effect, and then just make plays. So yeah, this card's definitely good. Next, one's a Tellarknight Deneb. This is just to search out the Tellarknight, Tellarknight Zefras, purely to get my scale on board. No really need to go into discussion with him. BLS, basically just a big beat stick for me. He's pretty easy to make in this deck with the Denebs, the Hedgehogs, all that stuff. So this is a good card in my opinion, so that's why I'm using it in here. BLS, and also he's a great beat stick. That's all the monsters. Next, on to spells. 3, Oracle of Zefra. Now you need the 3 Oracle of Zefra. This card makes your whole deck work. It's basically, for each summoning type, you get different effects, and also when it's activated, you search a Zefra monster. So the effects you're mainly going to be using is the Xyz and Synchro effect, which allow you to legally top deck one card from your deck, or which is Synchro effect, or Xyz effect when you draw one and then discard one to deck thin. This card is very good for those effects, and I would say you have to run 3, no less than 3. This card is literally the heart and soul of the deck. Without it wouldn't be able to run. Okay. Next, 2 reinforcements of the army to search all my warriors, get my scale on board, just to help the deck go a bit faster. 2 MST, just to get rid of those problem-solving cards, like lose 1 turn, skill drain, vanity's emptiness, Clipboard Scout, just for those reasons. 2 Shadow Fusion. This is mainly because I like the Shadow engine in the deck, and it works really well, to be honest. I'm not typical Shadows, but in this deck they're actually quite fun to use. So I would say Shadow Fusion is a necessary card, because it also allows me to get my Hedgehog in grave, to search out Zefra scales and everything, so it actually helps out a lot. Plus the fact I have tons of targets to use. Okay. 1 Raigeki. This is mainly just blow up the field, get OTKs in. It's a good card. Okay, those are all the spell cards. Now onto traps. Okay, so I run 2 Zefra Divine and Strike. This is basically your counter trap for the deck. I'm running 2 of them purely because 3 is too much, and early game you're not going to have any monsters in your pendulums, your extra deck to send to banish them. So this card is good, but you need the pendulum. You need cards in your pendulums, banish your extra deck to actually be able to use it. So I would say 2 is enough for the deck. Next, Mirror Force, just for when my opponent goes big and I want to get rid of all their stuff. Breakthrough Skill. Now, Breakthrough Skill is an option card. You can either use this or Fiendish Chain. I gone with Breakthrough Skill simply because of MST's a bitch, and I don't really want to get MST'd when I'm trying to play Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's why that's in here. And now for one-offs. 1 Jar of Avarice to recycle stuff like my field spells, my counter traps, monsters, anything really. Spell cards. Jar of Avarice is a good card for those reasons. 1 Sword of Morning, negating summon, and 1 TT because it doesn't hurt the deck at all. Because if my opponent just summons a bunch of stuff and then ITT, it's not hurting me, it's hurting them. Because I can just pendulum summon all the cards back. Okay, that's the main deck. Now on to the extra deck. So, in the extra deck I'm running 1 El Shaddai Winder, just for those special summoning problems. 1 Shadow Anoitilis, purely because of Necros, and sometimes the Tellarknights, I guess, when they got that cool and haunted. 1 El Shaddai Construct, because it's a good card and I run tons of light targets. That's all the fusions. Onto XDs. 1 Tellarknight Ptolemaeus, purely for the first turn diamond play and everything. 1 Tellarknight Trevor, just because I can make him easily and I can put him under diamond if I want. And he's just a great card in those perspectives. Next, 1 Tellarknight Constellar Diamond for the Shadow matchup and everything. Don't really like them. Also, it's good in BA matchups and Skull Server matchups and everything. It's a good card in general. 1 Gaga Cowboy for game, and 1 Castel just to get rid of problems. If you're not gonna be playing Anoitilis, I would say put in another Castel because a Castel is a great card in general. That's just my opinion. Now for synchros, 1 Metatheus Horus. Now, as many people don't know this card is a great card, purely because when he's used with a pendulum material, he gets 2 effects. The effect monster effect and the pendulum monster effect. The effect monster effect is that I get to negate 1 card permanently on the field, and the other effect is I make my opponent choose a monster to give me, and it gets me an out to towers because of I can just rob their towers and see what happens because of this card doesn't affect towers. The thing it's affecting is the player, so they have to choose one. If they've got no other monsters on board, then I am taking their towers. So that's why Metaphorus Horus is in here, a really good card in this deck. 1 Back Rose for when I just want to nuke the board because there's too much problems. 1 Clear Wing Synchro Dragon for those Shadow matchups that I don't like, and because of high level monsters are a bitch. Yazi, just to get rid of problem cards on board. Also, he's a great card to get out my Treasure of the Yangzing here. Wait, no, Secret of the Yangzing here. Just a great card. 1 Fault Ruler Archfiend. Now, there's plenty of other targets you could have for level 8, but I like Fault Ruler Archfiend because of the regaining of life points. Plus, I've been testing him a lot. And he seems to work out well because of he can stop getting targeted and everything. 1 Chao Feng Phantom of the Yangzing. Now this guy's just a great card in general. I used Bixie for him. He's unaffected by traps plus Necros die. I used the 2 Earth Yangzings, and my opponent and Klee die. It's just a great card. Just a great card in general. Chao Feng, great card. Also, when he dies, I get my tuners, which is why I would like to run more Jiaotus, but right now, not that great of an idea. But it's good to get Falco. And finally, 1 Star Eater, just to kill her out. So, yeah. So guys, tell me what you think of my deck profile. Tell me if you like it or not. And please, for more Yu-Gi-Oh videos, like, comment, and subscribe. And guys, I'll be seeing you next time. See ya.